And then they did a live album, Hell Over Sophia, with a video and a DVD and a Blu-ray and a documentary, which is a pretty cool documentary. But I would have liked, like, they didn't have Lars in it, which would have been cool to hear, what he had to say. It would like to have heard from Michael more. And it's mostly Peter and Massa. I mean, it's cool that Massa's in it, and those guys are clearly having fun together. And it's a little bit silly, the documentary, in my opinion, the way it was put together. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but in some ways, I think they could have done a better documentary about the band. I mean, I would, you know, love to hear more in depth stuff, but it's still cool to have. And so then it's quite a few years before we get another release, which is End of Disclosure, and it's a good album. Not one of my favorites. Once again, the back half of the album, The Return, which is actually a song that Lars helped write. He worked on that with Peter, I guess, and that's my favorite song. And there's a bonus track on the Digipack called Living Dead, and that's also really killer. Those are my two favorite songs. Tales of the Spineless is really good, and the opening track, End of Disclosure, is pretty good. So it's still a very good album. And so then we wait a few more years after that, and then they release Worship, their latest album, and actually quite a few years. I think that's the longest gap, if I'm not wrong, is between End of Disclosure and Worship. It's about 7 years or something like that. I mean, they were cranking them out earlier in their career, but that's the way it goes sometimes, or that's the way it usually goes, it seems, these days. And it's a good album. It's kind of like End of Disclosure for me. It's good, but it's not a favorite. And I like, favorite song is Bug in the Net. Also like Gods of the Underground a lot, and those are the last two tracks on the album. The opening track, Worship, is pretty good. um, Chemical Horror, it's okay. Children of the Gray, also okay. Like I said, not at the top of my list. It's a fine album, but um, I like other ones much more. So, yeah, that's basically a quick run through their discography and my opinion on the albums. And Peter is a vocalist. I mean, he's definitely progressed since when he started doing vocals. I think he originally wanted to do, or he recorded vocals for the band. But yeah, like he did Penetralia on the debut, he sang that. And I actually preferred Mass's vocals more on the album. I wish he would have sang that song too. But Peter progressed and, in my opinion, got much, much better and is a super killer death metal vocalist now. He can do super deep, he can do high, mid range, clean vocals, screams, basically everything you need. Probably more than what most people like. But I love that he does clean vocals and, has those types of songs. That's probably one of the main reasons they're my favorite death metal band. If he didn't do that, they might still be, but that definitely puts them above a lot of other bands. And some people probably don't like that. Those aren't death metal tracks or whatever, but I like different types of music, and it fits. In my opinion, it fits. It's not awkward when he sings those types of songs or puts them on the albums. I think it fits very well. Anyway, like, I forgot to mention from the self-titled, I think Pale Empty Sphere is probably my favorite of the clean vocal tracks out of the whole discography. And so anyway, I think he's an amazing vocalist. And favorite album covers, like I said, Penetralia is very good. I like that one. Oscar Obscenum, The Fourth Dimension, I already mentioned. Abducted is cool. I like that cover. Even the self-titled album, I like a lot. And I mean, they don't have any bad album covers, but those are my favorites. And yeah, like I mentioned, I like a lot of the slower Hypocrisy songs. They're just really powerful and just, I don't know, those are my favorite. I think, like, I just took some notes here, like Apocalypse, which I mentioned, Drained, The Fourth Dimension, Slipping Away, Pale Empty Sphere, Death Row, No Regrets, Inquire Within, Until the End. All those songs, they're slower. Elastic Inverted Visions from the self-titled. Um, Something else I was going to mention too, the side projects, or well, The Abyss was a side project, a black metal side project with Michael and Lars and Peter switching around. Um, Peter had played drums on that, and then Michael and Lars, I think, did guitar and bass together. And the first album, The Other Side, I love it. It's great. It's unique, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know a lot of black metal that sounds like that. I mean, I'm not an expert on black metal. I am a fan, but I'm not a super fan, I guess you would say. So there may be other bands that sound like that. That first album, I'm just not aware. But the second album, Summon the Beast, I wasn't such a big fan of. It was more like just straight up blasting, you know, I think. I haven't listened to it in decades. Maybe I should go back and listen to it again, but I just remember not really caring for it as much, especially compared to the first one, the Abyss album. I thought it was great. That's one of my favorites. And then Peter also has Pain, of course, and I like the first Pain album a lot. It's different than what he ended up doing with Pain. And I own a lot of the albums. I think there's only maybe the last two I didn't buy, and maybe one day I will. I like tracks here and there, you know, from many of the albums, but overall, you know, I prefer Hypocrisy much more. And Pain is fine, and like I said, they do have some good songs, but you know, not really my thing for the most part. And yeah, so I was gonna show some stuff that I have that's, I don't know if I would say it's not necessarily uncommon or anything, but just some different stuff. And it's kind of random what I'm showing here, but this is a 7-inch on green vinyl that has a Dead Kennedys cover and the Exploited cover song on side A and side B, just the two songs, but it's a pretty cool release. And go along with that, this sampler I got, Party Sand, Hell Is Here sampler. They have both those songs on CD, so it's cool to have that on CD as well, those songs. And the only other 7-inch I own is Carved Up, which is a track from Abducted. And there's a song called Beginning of the End, which was never released on as a studio song for an album. It is a bonus track on the Hypocrisy Destroys Wacken CD. But it's a cool song. I actually like it. I wish I would have, you know, put it on a full-length album, studio album, and re-recorded it. Would have been cool. The Hell Over Sophia Blu-ray that also has the documentary and Weed Out the Week video clip. And this is from Germany, so it doesn't play on U.S. Blu-ray players, but I have a region. I guess it's a region 2. It says region 0, but for some reason the PAL or whatever it is, it doesn't play on the U.S. Blu-ray player. And this Shaped CD, Maximum Abduction, which was released around the time of Abducted, and it's got Roswell 47 and Carved Up from Abducted, and then an early version of Request Denied, which was later re-recorded for the final chapter, and then a cover of Strange Ways, which is a Kiss song, which is cool because I like Kiss, and Peter does too. The Inferior Devotees EP. Oh, I didn't talk about this one. It's 10 years of chaos and confusion. They released it on the 10th anniversary of the band in 2001. And it's got, CD1 has 14 tracks, kind of, if you want to call it a best of favorite tracks. But it's got 6 songs that he, or I should say Hypocrisy, re-recorded for this release. Penetralia, The Fourth Dimension, Osculum Obscenum, Apocalypse, Pleasure Molestation, and Left to Rot were all re-recorded for this release, and they sound amazing. And then there's CD2, which is their demos, Demo 91, Demo 92, bonus new song Turn the Page, which ended up on Catch-22. Like I said, not really one of my favorites. And then 6 video clips on that CD. And here we have this release, which was 4 songs, basically demo versions of 4 songs that ended up on Ostium Obscenum. And it's a good recording. It's not like a bad sounding demo or anything. It sounds really good, actually. I like it a lot. And this stuff maybe is a little more unusual. I have a pair of shorts with the logo and a little snip from the self-titled album, and then also sweatpants with the same, it's got the logo down one leg, and then a picture of that alien, I guess it's supposed to be an alien from the self-titled album. So there you have it. That's basically my video on Hypocrisy, and like I said, it's my favorite death metal band since, I would say, like 96, when Abducted was released. That's when it was basically me saying, yes, this is my favorite death metal band. And it remains that way to this day. So, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.